If you really want to push it to the next level, it's going to require more unbalance. To consistently do everything that you know you need to do every single day, that's a completely different battle. That's a completely different beast. And that's where you really got to be a maniac when it comes to this, especially in the beginning phase. What's going on, YouTube? It's your boy T Millions, aka Ty, and I'm back with another video, man. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff for the algorithm, and be sure to follow me on all platforms at T Millions. So without further ado, let's jump into the video, man. Yeah, man. So with today's video, man, I really wanted to talk about, if you want to become successful, become elite, become a high achiever in life, and just not live this content, average lifestyle of an average human being, there is no balance, man. There is truly no balance when it comes to achieving things at a very high level. And, I said this plenty of times before, but right now, me bringing in money, I do a lot of umpiring. Umpiring pays pretty well, and it's not tying me down to where, it's something that I'm obligated to do 5 to 7 days out the week, 9 to 5. That's not the case. Now, because it is the summertime, things have ramped up a little bit to where I may work, let's say 4 days out the week from, let's call it 9 a.m. to sometimes 6, 7, 8 p.m. But the pay is actually worth it. You know what I mean? I'm not sitting here tied down to a boss. In a way, I'm not going to say I'm a boss when it comes to me umpiring, but I'm able to pick my schedule. So if I say I don't want to work Wednesday, I don't have to work Wednesday. Whereas some of these other jobs, you don't have an option. That's you saying I'm off this day, and, they're going to mark that down as, one of your off days, and you don't really have too many of those left. When it comes to me umpiring, I can say I don't want to work this week at all, and that's fine. I can just come back next week. So the pay is very well, and it doesn't tie me down, which is another thing that I love. So this past weekend, I umpired Thursday through Sunday. I had like 2 games Thursday, 4 Friday, 4 Saturday, 4 Sunday. And, that's not really a lot, but I had the older kids, so it was like 15 to 17. And, with those age groups, the games are a lot longer. So they're 2-hour time limit games. And usually when you have a younger age group, the games can be hour and a half, hour 40. But those 2 hours, and each and every single game doesn't stop at 2 hours. So you could end up playing 2.5, 2 hours and 10 minutes, 2 hours and 15 minutes. So the day is a lot longer. And so with that being said, I was locked in on my calorie goal, locked into a T. I didn't cheat, didn't do any of those things. I tracked every single thing down. So even if I ate a little bit more for breakfast, it was all logged. So I know how many calories I had left on the day. Right. And, I stuck to that. I got my steps in. I made sure I hit the gym even before or after, depending on how much sleep I got. Or, if I had time later in the day to go, I still made sure I got those things in. But one thing I folded on was content. I'll be honest. And one of the main things that I'm telling y'all is that I want to do this full time. Me talking to y'all, I want to do this full time. No ifs and buts about it. And if I want to do this full time, there's no time for, oh, this job is in the way of this. There's no time for that. I need to suck it up and do what I got to do. There's plenty of people out here in the world who had more strenuous jobs where they had to show up this day, and not even have an option and still put content out there. You mean to tell me I can't talk to a camera for 10 to 15 minutes or make a 30, 45 to a minute, short Instagram reel and call it a day? That's just terrible on my behalf. And there's no excuse for it. And that's why I wanted to say there's no true balance. Like Especially this past 4 days of me working, I understood that, yeah, the days were long. I had 8 to 10, 12-hour days out there working to make money. But it's like, if I really want to get out of that, I have to do what I got to do with the time that I have outside of me going to work. You know, I don't have time to kick it and mess around and talk to chicks and do this and that. I need to put my head down and grind. And whatever time that I have before I need to go make money, that's the time I need to use. I need to use that time wisely. So there is no balance. There's not really a day where it's like, oh, I'm not going to go to work today. I don't want to make any money. I'm going to just sit here at the house and chill and go to the gym and make content. No, some days I will have to work. Some days you'll have to work, but you still have to do what you got to do. It is what it is. If you don't want to do that, then cool. Work your 9 to 5, come back home and do it all again until you retire. I don't want to retire at 60 years old and they give me this weak ass retirement check and, this is what I got to live with. No, I want to be on my own time, on my own rules. So what is that going to take? That's going to take me locking in with the hours that I do have and using it wisely, maximizing my time. And that's where I've been messing up at. Don't get me wrong, majority of days out the week, I'm locked in. But in order to become a high achiever, a high individual, it's a Monday through Sunday thing and repeat. Monday through Sunday, repeat. It's easy to lock in on one thing like going to the gym or tracking calories, but to consistently do everything that you know you need to do every single day, that's a completely different battle. That's a completely different beast. And that's where you really got to be a maniac when it comes to this, especially in the beginning phase. I mean, like, let's really think about it, fellas. You know how hard it is to, really try at something every single day and not see any type of results. You know what I mean? Like, you see people online. It's not even that you're comparing, but it's like you see them achieving these great things and, you're not even getting a taste of that. You know how hard it is to like just push yourself mentally and just keep going. It's like prime example with me and this content stuff. Like, fellas, I've been posting for a very long time. I've had a separate Instagram page that's not connected to my main. That was my original like fitness page. And I took it down. Like, I took all the videos down from that page. But if I show you receipts, I've been posting since, let's call it 2021. It's 2026. You know what I mean? At first back then, I didn't know. I was just posting, but like, I was still trying. I was still getting it out there. Now, over the past, I would say, past few months, I actually have a great idea of, trying to figure out, what's working and what's not working, what I need to double down on, and, what I need to, maybe stop posting or not post as much of. I kind of figured out how to make my videos better. And, like I was saying, with me in this content, like, consistently, with me in this content consistently, I've been posting for the past year and some change now, you know what I mean? Like, on and off. But, it's not like I'm going 4 or 5 months and then I'm posting again. No, you know what I mean? So, like, I've been pretty consistent over the last year and some change. And I feel like each and every single day that I do this, I'm constantly getting better. But with that being said, like, I would post videos that, maybe get traction. So what's the rule of thumb? Double down on it. I make that same style of video again, it gets no type of views. No type of views. So now I'm back at the drawing board. I make another video, don't really get no views. Make another video, don't get no views. And, I was kind of going through this rut where it's like, man, what am I doing this for? My videos only getting 200-300 views max on Instagram, to be exact. And, like, don't get me wrong, 300 views, that's a lot of views. But in the grand scheme of things, especially from a social media standpoint on Instagram, it's not really any at all. And it's like my videos weren't even hitting the algorithm for real. It was just hitting my followers. And I would say over the last week and a half or so, I finally had a video that popped off. 75,000 views, to be exact. Now, in the grand scheme of things, I know that's not a lot, but that was the most views I've ever had on a video. And it wasn't even the views, because I understand as a coach and to make money, views is not what pay the bills. It's the interactions, it's the saves, it's the shares, it's the comments, stuff like that. And that 75,000 view video ticked all those boxes. So what did I do? I doubled down on that. You know what I mean? And when I say like a lot of views, like for me, I would just be happy with getting 5,000 views on the video, because I'm not used to that. On average, you know, 2, 3,000, that would be a good video for me back then. And when I say back then, like a month ago, 5,000 views, I'm like, whoa, that video did something. This recent video I did got 75,000 views. So I doubled down on it. And I want to say I probably made like 8 to 10 videos specifically like that style of content. And I want to say like three other videos similar to that got over 10,000 views. So, you know, it's working. But guess what? That was over a year and a half of just trial and error, trial and error. And, you know, I felt so good and did not want to lose the momentum. I was posting those videos every single day throughout the past like week and a half of that current style, just so I wouldn't lose momentum. Still going to work, out there 8-10 hour days, still umpiring and still posting those type of videos, because I did not want to lose that momentum. I did not care about how I felt mentally. I knew I had to get it in no matter what. Forget my mental health, forget all of that. Just go, go, go. Put your head down and go. And that, you can honestly translate that with anything in life, I promise you. There is no real balance. The only time you'll get balance is once you make it. But then it's like, if you really want to push it to the next level, it's going to require more unbalance. So just make sure whatever you want to achieve in life, go all in. You need to rewire your brain and understand that there will be no balance, especially if you want to achieve high achiever things. So yeah, man, that's, you know, something I want to get off my chest, you know. And yeah, man, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff for the algorithm. If you want to work with me one-on-one in the trenches, in that dungeon, to, you know, be a high achiever, to level up in life, be sure to click the link in the bio, man. I do not work with everybody. You know, I don't, you know, I'm not a coach for everybody. I will push you. I will, you know, make you work, because at the end of the day, in order to grow, you cannot be comfortable. And a lot of times in life, we stick to what's comfortable, even myself, you know, but I'm constantly working to become the best possible version of myself. And like I say plenty of times in my video, I don't have it all figured out. But if you want a brother to be in the trenches with, to grow with, be sure to click the link in the bio, man. So like I said, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff for the algorithm. Be sure to follow me on all platforms at T Millions. And I'll see you on the next video. Peace.